Assalamualaikum to Dr. Kadena and fellow friends. Today we will present Toyota leadership during recall crisis. The group members are NORADILAH binti AZHARUDDIN. My name is ATIKAH binti AZLI, NURHAYATI binti Said, and SITI NAJIAH binti RAHMAN. I will start with the introduction. Toyota Motor Corporation is one of the biggest companies in the automobile industry. It is based in Japan and offers a wide range of products. The main product of the company includes mini vehicle, buses, trucks, and other models. The company has subsidiaries which have plants and manufacturing components in the most parts of the world. The core business of the company is automotive business, which accounts for 90% of the sale for the company annually. Other business activities include telecommunications, manufacturing and selling of leisure boats, and prefabricated housing. The nature of operation of Toyota Motor Corporation is labor-intensive, and this requires a great focus of the human resource management in the company. Next, moving on to corporate. Toyota corporate strategy is based on cutting waste, that is cutting down between distance that things move between plants. Toyota strategic management is based on using the talents of workers to the fullest. The leadership model SSA cutter speaks never fail to reward merit but never let a fault go unremarked. Recently, Toyota Boshoku Group devised a 5-year 2020 midterm business implementation plan in 2016 and has pressed forward with the action in line in the plan's 3 pillars of corporate growth while fulfilling our responsibility in harmony with society, sustainability growth, and enhance our corporate value on a mid to long-term basis. Structure strengthening has advanced through the work made heretofore, and favorable results are appearing in terms of finance as well as the issue still remains. Fiscal 2021 is the final fiscal year of the 2020 business plan. Toyota shall be verifying the progress of measures that address the plan goals and results achieved so far, and link this 2025 midterm business plan. Toyota uses both differentiation and low-cost engineering strategies and tries to gain a competitive advantage over their competitors in the automotive industry. Toyota differentiates on several levels from their competitors. First of all, Toyota has been very successful in differentiating on the basis of superior design and quality. Next area that Toyota differentiates is the technology. Toyota was the first successful mass producer of hybrid car. Along with the differentiation, Toyota also used low cost and tried to gain competitive advantage in the automotive industry. Toyota is the low cost producer in the industry. They also achieved the cost leadership strategy by adopting lean production, careful choice and control of supplier, efficient distribution, and low serving costs from a quality products.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NORADILAH binti AZHARUDDIN. So I will continue for introductions regarding HR strategies. Every company has focused much on its human resource in order to achieve qualities, minimize costs, achieve efficiency, and attain the other business objective. It is the belief of the company that the more its employees are satisfied, the more the company will succeed in attaining its objective. Besides, HR strategies is also important for the leadership development in Toyota company. As we all know, an effective leader can influence their employees to achieve the goal of the organization.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SITI NAJIAH binti RAHMAN. Issue for Toyota company is Toyota leadership during recall crisis. At Toyota company, that the leadership failed to guide the organization along the right path. The leadership realized the shortcoming in some of its products but unsuccessful to act.
Next is research question. Research question 1 is, what is the effect of HR strategy to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis? Next is, what is the effect of business strategy to leadership of Toyota during the recall crisis? And the last research question is, what is the effect of organizational culture to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis? Next, moving on to research objective. The first research objective is to research the effect of HR strategy of leadership of Toyota during the recall crisis. Next research objective is to identify the effect of business strategy to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis. And the last is to determine the effect of organizational culture to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis.
In this slide, I will explain about the scope of the study. The focus of this study is about the leadership of Toyota Company during recall crisis. The study is to evaluate the effect of HR strategy, business strategy, and also organizational culture to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis. The study also will determine the challenges that faced by Toyota and its management in terms of leadership development, which is also included in the scope of the studies.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURHAYATI and I'm going to present the next part, which is literature review. The willingness to direct people and teams for the accomplishment of corporate goals is leadership. These people are capable of manipulating others to obtain the desired outcomes. The leader achieves follow-up action that contributes to organization's progress by providing guidance, executing strategies, and encouraging others. So a conventional Japanese system is used by the organization to optimize effectiveness and capacity. This structure is highly organized to satisfy the needs of the organizations. The business is run in a corporate structure in which the administration of action from top to bottom is extremely hierarchical. Top management takes all the decisions here, while staff at the lower level report to the above. To fulfill its entrepreneurial needs, Toyota implements intensive development and generic tactics. The general approach focuses on the combination of cost control and broad differentiation to foster productivity. The next literature review is leadership model in Toyota. There are many leadership styles that have been suggested by researchers in the field of management. So one style is the classic model, which implies that a successful manager guides regulates all facets of the company through a hierarchy of management and a well-defined structure. So leadership's model need to empower, encourage, and involve staff in the business. This style involves taking charge that aim to expand the company in the right direction. For example, Toyota used intense growth and generic techniques to meet its entrepreneurial needs. This research used unobtrusive measures as data collection method. This data was already accessible since they are generated during the usual course of corporate action. A case study approach was used to evaluate leadership challenges that lead to quality issue and recall crisis in Toyota company. So one of the advantage of unobtrusive research is it is low cost. This research used online journal entries, TV shows, history talk, and so on, meaning that the data was accessed without caring about paying for travel costs or to access to some documents and archive. It is also simpler than any other approach to correct errors in data collection in the conduct of discouraging studies. Also, unobtrusive analysis is well suited for studies focused on time process. An obtrusive approach allows researchers to examine long-standing incidents and process. This method also has a particular set of disadvantages. Unobtrusive researchers evaluate data which could be generated or obtained for reasons totally separate from the researcher's goal. They are also sometimes subject to validity issues. Furthermore, data sources could not exist to calculate the selected phenomena of the researchers. This means that unobtrusive researchers can be compelled to change their original research interests or questions in order to best adapt their results.
In discussion, I will explain organization culture, business strategy, HR strategy, leadership challenge that lead to the recall crisis, and way leader can cope with rapidly changing. For organizational culture, the company has an established organizational culture based on Japanese corporate culture. That's entire living and working philosophies like total quality management. It is just in time. The leadership model used in the company is based on teamwork and collaboration. Therefore, success of the company is dependent on all employees. For HR strategy, the human resource department at Toyota failed to come up with efficient leadership process. Toyota performed an annual evaluation and feedback of the human resource to achieve a clear understanding of the workforce in terms of number, employee expertise and their principle. Besides, the company performed an external climate analysis to consider labour market dynamics and the overall industry climate. That helped Toyota to recognize the contradiction between its existing employee and potential requirement. For business strategy, the lean management system has been described as the best style that has been emulated by other companies. To Toyota, lean management is an organization configuration that is occasionally linked to performance. The Toyota Way best describes this a process where line managers establish quality measures that identify errors in the system and seek ways to correct them. Lean management is part of the Toyota philosophy that the company has used to survive global competition. Next, leadership challenges that lead to the recall crisis. The Toyota Way system is highly taxing, requiring continuous on-the-job training that started slowly failing due to high turnover experienced during the time. As this challenge continues, some global factories were reluctant in managing quality issues, like giving workers the power to stop factory line when they detect error in the system. In addition, challenges were witnessed in hiring of temporary workers who were not integrated into the system. Management failed to integrate employees into the corporate culture of the company, which in turn compromised some production lines that lead to problems in vehicles. There have a few ways leaders can cope with rapidly changing. First, communicate constantly. Crisis management requires immediate update as new information is available. Sometimes, creating internal information or discussion board help with this process and ensure that appropriate business units are talking to each other. Second is roll through feedback. This initial action may prove to be failure or they do not capture the full scope of the problem, resulting in negative action. While consumers were not pleased with this initial measure, Toyota has to continue to diagnose the problem and issue offer different solutions. The leader has to stay calm and focused when this happens to avoid worsening the crisis. Third is recognize what is working. Leaders who have created the right communication channel will be able to flag good results and use those results to strengthen ongoing effort. This facilitates morale and show progress against the crisis mitigation plan. Toyota made the right move to halt the new car production in January, which saved more potential accelerator problems from going to market. Lastly, they need to get back on track and refocus on their business. Managers of Toyota are going to have to focus on company communication and bringing back its former foundation of making quality cars that are dependable and reliable in addition to modern.
Moving on to the recommendations, I would like to give some opinion regarding Toyota leadership during recall crisis. Firstly, Toyota needs a trustworthy and unambiguous leader. The leader of the Toyota must consider himself as an agent of transformations that serve and defend the community. He also must learn how to cope with but still take a chance and face the facts of the problem. Secondly, the leader must first consider the true roots of the crisis. The business fought for a hand-off attitude and vindicates its accelerator as Toyota issue first surfaced. Thus, management also should have to get into the root cause of this issue and report some other quality problem as the recessions would have long-term consequences to the company. Lastly, as a leader of Toyota, he should have a strong message of what he is doing. A leader also needs to know clearly what it will be different in the future. This is because Toyota car can be rebuilt to the best quality in the world with the Toyota leadership and its management. It is time to reconstruct brand trust, their training, and also leadership development in order to compete with other competitors.
In a conclusion, the failure of the company are attributed to management and organization challenge which can be easily addressed. Management need to address leadership issues that lead to failure of the whole system. Leaders need to learn how to deal with resistance but also take a risk and to confront the reality. Lastly, leader also has to know how to cope with complexity, ambiguity and uncertainty.
The significance of this study is to find out the effect of HR strategy, business strategy, and organizational culture to leadership of Toyota during recall crisis, which will be significant in helping Toyota cope with the changes. Moreover, the study may help Toyota learn their lesson and reflecting what did happen when they do not address the recall crisis properly, thus providing improvement to Toyota leadership way to manage the recall crisis. For example, Toyota North America CEO Jim Lance stated that the best practices that are now placed at the Japanese automaker following the recall crisis, which are to be much more transparent both inside and outside of the company, listen to the customer and be quick improving the recall crisis.